Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news for Palantir Technologies here in the after hours, up nearly 3% as new info has been released that they are the top bidder amongst a multi-million-dollar contract worth about double of the last Department of Defense contract that we just recently heard confirmation about basically about a week ago. So great for Palantir Technologies here. There do come with some controversies. We'll be talking about this and especially how this can be bullish for Palantir in terms of their upcoming quarter earnings. Now, also bullish that we're seeing a little bit of a recovery because Palantir did get beat down today along with the whole stock market. We've had more intel on the actual jobs in terms of the amount of jobs that are open, and with that being said, probably not going to see some federal rate cuts in terms of interest rates, and that's being priced in right now as we speak. And we see the Dow Jones, we see the Nasdaq, and we see the S&P 500 all down between 1 and 2% of the day. So lots to talk about. If you're new to the channel, hit that like button. If you're returning, I can't thank you guys enough. Also hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, but let's pop it up on the screen right here. Talking about Palantir first and why we're seeing a little bit of a recovery here in the after hours. Palantir, like I said, is set to win the United Kingdom National Health System contract amidst these basically controversies and data privacy concerns. Now, this contract is basically serving to help analyze and to help detect much of different data sets that need to be basically depicted, or knowledge needs to be gained and learned from, and analyzing these medical data to detect patterns among this health system. And this contract's worth about $579 million. And great to see there. Like I said, we're seeing shares already up over 2% here in the extended hours, and basically just trying to help analyze medical data, overhauling and trying to get a control over the entire health system. Now, Palantir, this is great in terms of exposure and diversification of its products and its software in terms of its clientele. And the reason I'm saying that, or kind of bringing that up, is recently we've had Palantir making lots of government contracts with the US government, Department of Defense, and things like that. So great to see them going more nationally, international with the United Kingdom, and also in terms of a different industry, the healthcare industry, and utilizing their AI technology. So great to see the exposure and the diversification within Palantir. One of the controversies that we have seen, and this is why this has kind of been a big flag up in the air, is the privacy concerns that do come with it, and basically giving these data sets the ability or accepting these data sets to have access to a lot of this data. And we know health data is very, very, very private. So that is one of the biggest concerns right there, is basically just saying that after all this is that the main concern is the transparency about what data sets the National Health System would actually be handing over and how it's being used, whether patients can opt out of it or how they can choose if they want Palantir to be utilizing their data. But still, nonetheless, from a financial perspective, rather than just looking at privacy concerns, of course, I'm not dismissing those concerns. Those are very important, but need to be kind of handled out in a different logistical sense. In terms of a business operation and in terms of Palantir's success, great to see there that they are a top bidder right now, even amidst those privacy concerns. And I hope they can handle them in the best way and have an answer to all the concerns and the questions in the best way. So that way it can be a win-win situation for each type of perspective. But going to why we've seen, of course, like I said, the S&P, Dow Jones, we see Nasdaq down between 1 to 2% on the day, as stocks really did see a large sell-off. And this is because the bond yield surge amid these hot jobs data. And basically with this hot jobs data, what we have seen is that there were 9.6 million open jobs, and this is an increase from 8.83 in that previous month. So we got 9.6 million at the end of August, 8.83 in the previous month from August before that, which should be July. But with that being said, and with that hot jobs data, this is basically telling Wall Street, telling all the investors and large institutional investors to get a reminder to basically not expect any Federal Reserve interest rate cuts anytime soon. Because if we see hot jobs that are coming out, if we see the economy in terms of a job perspective right here, they're not going to have a strong reason to actually cut those rates. And with that being said, we have that being priced in right now, basically into speculation of that upcoming meeting and what they do want to make as a decision in the next meeting. So we're seeing seeing a little bit of a sell-off here on Tuesday as those treasury yields do pile on and pressure is amongst the actual whole stock market. Now, basically what we are seeing is that with these borrowing costs that will stay higher for longer, is Palantir in reaction went down about 6% in terms of the actual markets, and for more of a tech stock and specifically a stock within the AI industry, I don't think is too bad. And especially as Palantir did have a large short-term buying pressure in influx here, going from about this 1394 up to the 16. So a little bit of a sell-off and a little bit of a consolidation here, I don't think is the worst thing in the world. And I think building a foundation, having more of a slower, increased stepping stairwell rather than just a skyrocket right to the top, I think is more important, especially to help with some of that volatility as Palantir does test future resistance points. And talking about future resistance points, November 6th, November 7th, that earnings call period will be really important for Palantir stock, especially as if it's a target of $20, that's the next really strong resistance point for Palantir, because that's where we were at basically right before the revenue or the last call earnings were released. Once those were released, we saw Palantir go from about $20 down to about $15. So Palantir really reach that level of $20 in the upcoming days. I think with the pricing of the actual overall market sentiment in terms of those federal interest rates and the job market data being priced in right now, we could see a little more pricing on that definitely, and Palantir kind of experiencing some of the effect from that. But with the key moving averages, Palantir is trading around its 50-day moving average, which is really important and a really critical point for a stock. And right now, where a lot of analysts, especially right here, they're kind of mixed on where the price targets are for Palantir. And among the 20 analysts that we have right here, 2 of them rated as a strong buy, 2 give a buy, 8 give a hold, and 2 give a sell, and 6 have a strong sell. So it's kind of in the middle right now, a pretty neutral consolidation of all of the opinions from those analysts, and an overall price target sits at 1443. Well, Palantir's at 1490, well 1528 in the after hours right now. So kind of sitting around that neutral price target really means that Palantir could have any way to go, and it does have some key moving averages that it does need to hit, and especially with those resistance levels of about $20. So November 7th is going to be really important, and especially the confirmation of this actual contract is going to be really important for Palantir in terms of bullishness, and of course in terms of those upcoming quarter earnings. And we've talked about that, especially with what they are expected, and with the revisions that we've seen in the last 90 days is 5 revisions in terms of the bullish perspective. So lots of people are betting that Palantir, and of course the analysts, are holding them to higher and higher and higher standards. And with that being said, Palantir does have a lot to prove and a lot to live up to. But if it can, I think we could see that $20 resistance testing coming here in the near future. That's all that I have for you guys. Take care. Peace out, and I'll catch you guys later.